My name is Sarai. I'm one of the artists in residence here at the Germanisches Nationalmuseum. I see myself as a third culture kid, which means that the place that I grew up in is neither the culture or nationality of my parents. This had a big effect on me because already from a young age, I was faced with questions of belonging. So growing up in the US, my family and I, we were seen as Israelis. And then at the age of 10, when we moved back to Israel, I was seen as an American. It took me time to realize that I can have a sense of belonging to many places, that I can be neither Israeli, neither American, but connected to places rather, and the people rather, that I grew up with, and also the places that my family are connected to. And this curiosity was one reason that I decided to move to Germany to see and live in the place that my mother's side of the family had come from for generations. And these thoughts and feelings are deeply connected to my work. My work is always personal. And when I look at the video that I'm doing here, I see so many references of snippets of conversations, ideas, dreams, and it can be seen also as one stream of consciousness of these experiences, living in Israel, growing up in Israel from the age of 10, and seeing it also as an outsider. I partly decided to apply because of the theme of the exhibition, Horizons. I thought that in this mythical place where sea and sky meet, the fantastical happenings of the video can take place as well, where the ideology Zionism is born, you see its birth, and is also embodied. So it's a person that speaks. Another reason is that I felt a burning need to do this work. I feel it's very important today to talk about Zionism and to look at Israel closely, especially with the political happenings of today. And the Germanisches Nationalmuseum is a great place to do that, also with the collection that they have, which serves as many inspiration points, and with the structural support that I receive here as an artist. In this work, I choose to embody Zionism and to give it a voice, which again is deeply personal for me. Both sides of my family were Jewish refugees, from my mother's side, from Germany, and from my father's side, from Iraq. And with this work, my hope is to ask anybody who has a deep connection to the state of Israel, is this our dream? Was this our dream? So the first episode starts with the birth of Zionism, and it sets the emotional tone of desperation and hope. I also use a part of the song Kalaniot, which is sung by Israeli folk singer Shoshana Damari, and it references the national flower of Israel to give this backdrop of hope and beauty of the utopian dream. The second episode, Dream, Nightmare, begins with a search for home and a key. It is partly inspired by how the empty homes of expelled Palestinians were given to Jewish refugees after 1948. Water Tasting of Blood and A Decades-Long Journey references the biblical exodus of Jews from Egypt. The third episode, Loyalty, looks at the planting of a flag, something that in my eyes is a violent act. There is always a group that doesn't belong to a flag. There's always separations and borders and old systems, imperialist systems that are connected to a flag. My goal with this work, with looking at Zionism from the beginning until today in episodes, is to ask everybody who feels a deep connection to the state of Israel, is this your dream? What does migration mean to me? It's not one thing for me. It's not one act or one moment. It's something that I constantly live with. It's a constant source of joy, but also pain. And I don't know any other reality. I have always been an immigrant, whether in the US or in Israel, and so have my family. For me, it's my reality.